How do you define creativity?
I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know I'm doing it really, really well.
Hospitality here is incredible.
Oh my gosh, dude. All right, man. So you're like the most reoccurring, you're a reoccurring character on this podcast.
Did it, dude. Finally.
You got your comfort blanket.
Yeah, today I'm feeling, a little bit, just in case you ask me any DMT questions.
No, we're not gonna get that deep, dude. Maybe deep into acting though.
Let's do it, dude. I got my 10 commandments here.
Nah, chill.
All right,
I know,
let me know, dude.
Wait till the end.
Let me know, dude.
But just in case no one knows, I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you've already probably heard of Robby Ramos. So you can go back a couple and maybe listen to that one. 'Cause I'm not trying to get to your story.
Okay, good.
I already know it, dude. I really don't care.
Okay. You don't care about New York?
Nah.
Off.
Nah. I know you lived in New York, then you did the LA, Miami. I got it, bro. I got it.
Okay.
But speaking of that, I wanted to start by asking, since the last time we spoke, what's changed in your approach to acting or the business in general?
I mean, no, I think it's more of a continuation of everything that I have been already kind of doing, which was making my own work. And then also, yeah, just not waiting for the business to call me, because, if you wait, you die. Next question, dude.
Well, you spoke about it a little bit on Saturday at your Actors Lab event.
Yeah.
But what was the moment that like you realized you had, not that maybe you had to be more than an actor, but you were more than an actor, or you wanted to be more than an actor?
I mean, that actually probably happened after Heels. Damn, that's a good question, because it's like there's probably multiple answers there. I mean, like, maybe the first time where that happened was like in my mid-20s. I was like, hey, I got to start writing my own stuff. Otherwise, like, I'm at the whim of what everyone else is writing. So maybe that's the first stage of that, is like coming to awareness of that. And then the second time was probably when the actor strike. So we went on strike for a fucking year, dude.
What year was that?
2022? 2023.
And not to mention COVID too, which kind of...
Yeah, well, I mean, COVID was it's kind of like embarrassing to say this, but COVID was good to me, man. Like, because right in the middle of COVID, like, I had my first baby, and then also I booked Heels in the thick of COVID. So I kind of like skirted past that. But the strike was the final was a big turning point for me, because I was like, damn, like, everything was going well. Season 2 of Heels was coming out. I had I had more things to do in that season. We all had high hopes for that season, because we knew it ended on a cliffhanger, and like people were gonna be interested in it.
Still waiting, dude.
And then, dude, the week that we premiered, I had also, so the week that we premiered Heels season 2 was the first week of the strike, of the actor strike. Also, that same week, I was going to fly to Albuquerque to shoot the last episode of Duster. So, man, it was like my career came to like a halt completely. And you couldn't write about, like, you couldn't post about it. That we had a premiere, we couldn't talk about it. We didn't do the premiere in LA. But more specifically, like, the money stops coming in,
Literally.
So, yeah. So then it was like a realization that I had to not have all my eggs in one basket, because that could be stripped away. And then I pivoted.
Yeah, and when I'm talking about COVID, I'm talking about how, because I mean, it was probably good to me as well, if I think about it. But but I'm talking about how it kind of not restructured the industry. I think it was the start, but they had to figure things out, so it changed how they did things. And then some of the things that they implemented during 2020 kind of stayed. I feel like there's a lot more self-tapes, because they figured out that, oh, you could just send them in. Like you don't have to go in person and audition all the time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to be here if COVID hadn't happened, because it was still all in person stuff before COVID. So the only reason I can live in Miami and work with you guys and be here with you guys is because I just send in self tapes. And then what they do is, you know, sometimes they'll do a chemistry read even through Zoom, which is kind of
Yeah.
shitty, but I've only had maybe one audition that was in person, and that one I just happened to be in LA at the time, and they were like, "Hey, you have the option of going in," and obviously it's always better to go in because you get to meet with, you know, another human being.
But I think, I mean, because of all the things that happened and the strike, like a lot of people are realizing you don't need to live in LA, especially how LA is like kind of shaping the Hollywood industry isn't what it is, what it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can live anywhere, literally, quite literally, you can live anywhere. And then also, but there hopefully it does kind of come back, because I think the center of Hollywood should still be Hollywood, right? Like I think there's something productive about that, and similar to the way that we work here, like it would be a way different company, Cultura Media House, if we were all, you know, like separated, right?
Yeah.
So there is something like people living in the same place that are making movies, because then you go to dinners, you go to this, you go to that. There's more of that kind of la mezcla.
But I think it's like a hybrid now, where there's always going to be like that old Hollywood that you're talking about, that like everyone's living, breathing, acting, filmmaking, like everyone's on a hustle to go do that thing. But then now you can make movies, especially, and TV shows, especially with technology. Like you don't have to all be in the same place. You can go to Georgia, you can go to Florida, you can go to all these places, Texas, and make movies. But I feel like the process it's gotten more streamlined for some. Obviously, if you're shooting Game of Thrones, you're not zooming a table reader.
Yeah. Well, you'd be surprised. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah, for the most part, it's gotten way easier to make things, and it has opened up. Like, I mean, you can kind of be a filmmaker. You show me people all the time that are like, oh, I just made a movie. I bypassed Hollywood basically, and I made this movie, and now I sold it to X, Y, and Z. But I think you're seeing a lot more of that. The entrepreneur actor.
What is the entrepreneur actor?
The entrepreneur actor is essentially what I'm doing, which is, you know, I have a specific knowledge about acting, and then I find out how to monetize that knowledge throughout different streams of income, whether that be, I mean, it could kind of like, it segues a little bit into writing, not necessarily that if you're a good actor, you can be a good writer, but you do have an ear for dialogue and stuff like that can kind of put you ahead. You've hopefully seen enough performances and movies that you have like a good taste of what's good. So I think that's probably what it is like being able to monetize your acting talents past just somebody booking you to be a drug dealer on Chicago PD.
Shout out. I mean, it makes so much sense now, but before I feel like it was like almost crazy for you to like, all right, I'm an actor, but I'm gonna go try doing this thing, and then like I'm gonna maybe start a side company that does this, or it's like, nah, you just act and that's it. Like with everything, but now it's just like it almost seems stupid not to, because all the things you can do with the internet and like, you know, there's
self-tape. I mean, actors used to have to be driving around the city.
Yeah.
From audition to audition, that would fucking eat up 6 hours of their day, 7 hours, especially if you're in LA, that you weren't able to do anything else except the acting stuff. The other thing about self-tapes that like I don't think enough people talk about, or maybe not enough people implement it, is like I don't really memorize my self-tape auditions. Like I have the sides, which is the script here on the side. I have my eye lines. Maybe I print it twice so that I have one script here, the other one here, and so if I have to do have to change my eye line, I can do that. But that's also a whole other animal, dude. Like you used to have to memorize your fucking auditions, dude.
But it's also funny because when you think about it, like they're not really interested in knowing if you can memorize lines because like pretty much everyone can do that. It's like, are you right for the parts? Because once you get the part, you're gonna really memorize your lines. If it's
Yeah.
But I never thought about it like that. Because if you go to an audition, you kind of have to like be prepared.
For sure, because if you're like this, you know, and you don't know what the next beat is, and then you're having to look up, but then you're like, what the that line? That's it. You're out, dude. You know
And
what I
a
mean?
self tape is totally different than an in person audition in front of. Like I always think about those scenes from Entourage,
Yeah.
like Johnny Drama, like reading in front, and the one guy looks at his phone, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Why the fuck you not looking at me, dude?"
Yeah, exactly. But there is something about it, dude. Like I like it because you know what I feel like, dude? I feel like a lion in a cage when I go audition. And I lose that in self-tapes, you know? I'm at my house. I gotta be quiet because the fucking girls are asleep. Janessa's mad at me and fucking just like, goddamn, get this shit over with. So it's a completely different experience for me. It saves me on time, but then it takes away from that, like, you know, I'm in the game and you meet the casting director, and then the casting director sees you and you can charm him up a little bit, charisma up the dick. That shit, you kind of lose out on all that, dude.
Now you feel like I get it. You feel like you're in it, like you're in the what do you call it? The fire, the fire. You're in
100. Look, I was in LA. The last one I did, the last audition that I did in person was Catherine Keener, who was the director of Twilight. Okay, I go in for this audition, and I just happened to be in LA at the time. I was like, damn, man, this is meant to be. I go in, I audition with her. I get to meet her, to see her reaction to what I'm doing. She gets to give me notes. Oh, you know, try that. That was great, but you know, do this, do that. The casting director's there. She sees you working with the director, which is super important. She's like, okay, this is a guy I could keep bringing him into the room, right? If you're doing a self-tape, they see from action to cut, you know, from when you cut here to cut there, and that's it. And they don't know really like how does he deal with the director? Like what kind of actor is this person? And you miss out on all that. And then there's a high that comes from that for you as the actor. And I like auditioning again, like I told you. I like it. I enjoy it. And when you leave that room, you're like, oh, okay, I'm on the right path. Again, if I'm at the crib and I send in a self-tape, maybe they did like it, but you don't hear about it. So then my fucking morale's low. I'm like, dude, I've missed 4 auditions in a row. I don't know why. But in that room, I knew like, okay, no, they dug my shit. I didn't get that role because they were looking for a younger actor. They gave me another part in this, dude. And it was like a small part, and I was gonna have to like pay my flight to LA, and I should have done it. I didn't pay the flight, and I turned down the role. Guess what actor got that role? The role didn't have a name. They're like, hey, the director loves you. She changed it. She gave you a name and everything. Little Rocky, right? It's funny because I'm a big guy, and it's called Little Rocky, and he's like a motel owner. And the lead in the show comes into his thing to like rent a space. And I didn't get it. Who do you think got it?
Zach Galifianakis.
Negative.
No.
You'll never. Adrian, you're back there, dude.
I think he's gonna get it.
What up? What do you think the actor that got that role? You guys will never guess it.
It's a known actor?
Yeah. No, it's a known person.
Joey Diaz.
Who? Joey Diaz? Nah. Dude, get ready for this, bro. Michael Jackson's daughter.
Wow. That was very specific.
Michael Paris Jackson, dude.
But
so now I tell you this. Wait, but this is part of what you don't get parts sometimes just because like they went a completely different way. Like who the fuck would have thought that Paris Jackson, Michael Jackson's daughter, would get a part that I was going for? But this business is nuts, man.
Yeah. that would have never
dude.
Years.
Never.
And she's probably not really an actress, is she?
I don't know. I just know her as Michael Jackson, but it's just like funny, dude. It's a funny business.
But those type of things also kind of give you a little like, bro, like I could kill it. It doesn't really matter.
Yes, exactly, dude. There's a certain level of this that's completely out of your hands. That does, you know, you have no control over what it is that the business does. So that's why you got to take matters into your own hands and make your own work.
And I mean, you've been doing that because one thing that you did was the walls. I mean, I don't even think we ever got a chance to talk about that, but I feel like that was I mean, obviously you've been doing that, a form of that for years, but I feel like this year when you did it at the Doral Cultural Arts Center, not only did you bring like the community together, but I feel like I mean, it's kind of what you are doing with the Actors Lab. You brought a lot of different people into one project that, I mean, it was a play, but it was kind of more than a play. It was like an event every weekend that people got to see and learn. But I mean, it started from you writing the play.
Yeah.
So like, how did you because I saw it from its very infancy. So how did you, from that concept, turn it into what it was this year?
I think I always use whatever, you know, is in front of me in terms of who are the artists that I'm collaborating with at that specific time. What are things that I learned from the previous times that worked, and then do them again, right? So bringing in like Kiki Valdez and that first time that we did it at Westchester worked really well. It's like, oh shit, yeah. If we pair, you know, this gallery feeling at the front of the play with the actual play, I don't know, it gives it like this other feeling of just, oh, I'm going to watch a play. No, it becomes a little more immersive, more of a well-rounded experience. And then this time doing it with Adrian was exactly that. We were able to make it feel like it was a something larger than just a play, which was also the name of the exhibit, Children of Exiles. Like it felt the version of the play that's the most fleshed out in terms of an experience as a whole was this time around, for sure.
Nah, I mean, it was definitely, I mean, I know I could speak for myself. It was a dope experience to be a part of it in some small way. But yeah, I feel like that is kind of almost not a base for what the Actors Lab is, but it kind of stems from everything you've done, right? Like, for example, like you started doing like writers, what do you call it? Writers table?
Yeah, we were doing like writers' rooms, basically.
Writers' rooms.
writing
But like
rooms.
you were doing that almost selfishly for yourself and to help hold each other accountable. But then I guess maybe that transformed into something that you could offer the community. Because I think it even goes back to what you were just saying of like being in the room is different than doing things separate.
Yeah.
So like it heightens everything. Even though it's like just you and your peers, you feel like you have to almost elevate because you're coming to a table read or a writer's room. It's like you got to come prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also something is the idea of like when you watch a movie, if you've watched a movie by yourself, let's say you watched it for the first time, when you watch it a second time with somebody else, you almost see the movie through their eyes. Mm-hmm. So it's very similar in the writers' meetings, at least for me. If I'm reading the story for the first time to somebody that I know hasn't heard it yet, I'm almost seeing it through their eyes. And I'm like, oh no, they probably don't understand this because, so it's working. It's kind of rewriting itself through the actual process of reading this work in front of somebody else. So there's that, and then so there's that on a selfish level, and then on a more like communal level, I get fucking turned on by doing that for other people. So like when I see a new script and somebody that has an idea, especially if that idea is like tied emotionally to something they're trying to express, I get very like excited about having them be able to realize that concept and make it as good as possible. It's just something I enjoy, which with the Actors Lab, I think, because I haven't done the classes yet, But I think I'm gonna feel the same way where, like, seeing somebody have a breakthrough in acting, or on the business side of acting as well, is gonna be exciting for
Yeah, and something I realized also being at the event on Saturday, it's like you said it the way you said it was I'm not your teacher. I'm here. I'm in it with you.
me. Hmm.
And it made me think of, because it's with everything. Sometimes, I mean, obviously there's people that like have been in the game with in any industry that you could always grab from and learn from, but then there's something of doing it with someone where it's more of like a guide. Because I was kind of relating it to DJing, where it's like, damn, we used to just meet up just to trade music. Like, we all knew how to DJ, but there was things that we could get from each other that would just help us elevate and then go out into the real world and apply it. And then the same thing applies. Like, oh, we would cut it up, and then I'd be like, oh, I've never. How do you do that? Like, boom, and then you see things a different way, but like no one does that anymore. So it's like sometimes you get too busy, even if you're a working actor, a working DJ, or a working creative, where you got to do the thing. So you don't have time to like, well, what's new, what's out there, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
See things from a different perspective.
that's a great point, because that is the way I'm approaching it. Because you can go to a class that somebody's going to teach you how they do it,
Mm.
right? So it's like, I already know how to do it, and I'm going to teach you how to do it the way that I do it. Negative. Especially in the arts. It's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Now, you can teach me techniques and things that you do that work, and I can use them almost like a toolbox. But for me to like become some form of your acting style that you like is bullshit, right? And that goes with anything, whether it's DJ, whether it's painting. It's like it's across the board in the arts. So the idea is, you're right. I didn't think of it that way, but it's like it's almost like a guide where you can kind of lead people to the way they want to do it, like almost help someone curate their own toolbox of how they want to approach acting, rather than, no, this is the way to do it and this is the only way that works, and blah blah blah, which is bullshit. Everyone has a different style.
Yeah, you're like almost helping them find their own sauce, like their
Yeah.
own voice of whatever, because everyone's different. Like, not everyone's gonna be Robert De Niro
No,
in Taxi Driver.
no, dude, no. And also Robert De Niro, like, I've heard things from people who have worked with him where like they get disillusioned because they think he's gonna be this thing, and then he's on his phone in between takes. Like, Baba, relax. Maybe 1973 Robert De Niro, where
Yeah.
he was doing Raging Bull or whatever the fuck. But there's level, like there's different times to be different ways. Like if I'm doing a specific role, maybe I do go Robert De Niro, and I'm like, yo, I'm cutting everybody off. Nobody's gonna know like what I'm doing, and I'm going straight in. But then if I'm playing, the bad guy of Chicago PD, I'm not cutting everybody off. I'm playing. So again, tools, like you can kind of pick at them depending on your job, and that's something that with the Actors Lab I want to focus on for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when he's on the set of like Bad Grandpa or something,
Yeah,
some of those bombers he was
yeah,
doing,
yeah.
he's
Exactly.
he's not taking it so serious. But also, I think like indirectly, because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you probably know more since you're in the weeds of the industry. But like we were saying earlier, there's locations and cities and states that are filming more, and there's a lot more work in other places. But I feel like at one point Miami was kind of a little bit of a hub for certain shows or certain movies, because I mean, it's Miami's a tropical paradise, the palm trees, the beach. Like, you had Burn Notice, Ballers. Like, it was like a nice little couple of years there, but then they all went away because of tax reasons or whatever else case. But I feel like eventually that could come back. So it's important to be not only, I don't want to say at the forefront, but like building something or being involved, because then they, when those productions come back or those filmmakers come back, like they're going to be trying to tap into the local community. So it's dope to like kind of be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, you hear about it like, oh, Miami's going to come back and they're bringing productions back and things like that. I know, like, even Patrick Bet-David has like this whole, Fort Lauderdale, he's calling it like He's like the East Coast. God, what's the place in LA where they have all the sound stages? Burbank, yeah, the East Coast Burbank, yeah. So, I mean, I pray that happens, dude, because then that means I can be down here more. But that's again, that's out of your control. That's like one of those things that God willing, you know. But I don't focus on that. I try and focus on again the work. What is the stuff that I'm doing? The things that I can actually do to further my career, and then, you know, what's that shit they say about luck? Everyone loves saying that now. Luck is preparation. But it's true, you know. It's like a cliche,
what
but
is
it's
it,
true.
dude?
I don't know what the fuck it is, bro. It's one of these things people say, but
Opportunity meets preparation.
There
yeah,
you go.
and it's not true.
Yeah. Have you always had that mindset? Did you learn that through acting, or you just learned that through
Which one?
fucking up in life?
Which one?
That you
dude?
can't control what's out of your control.
Yeah, yeah, probably a mixture of both. Fucking up in life plus acting. Yeah, acting, fucking dude, it's a teacher, bro. Because, well, yeah, acting's a teacher because you know when you try and control your performance, it's gonna be shit, dude. And if you liked what you did today and you try and replicate it tomorrow, not happening, dude. And tomorrow, the audience, especially the stage, like the stage is the greatest teacher because you'll be like, dude, I fucking nailed. Well, there's two things. You'll be like, I fucking nailed that monologue. And when you step off stage, your director's like, what the fuck was that? That was bad, dude. And you thought you fucking murdered it. Or let's say you did murder it, and then the next day you want to do it again, and it's a funny monologue, and people were cracking up yesterday, and you do it the exact same fucking way with the same pauses, same beats, same everything, nobody laughs. So you learn very quickly, like you cannot try and control your performance at all. And I think that applies to life too. Yeah, for sure.
Humbling as fuck.
Humbling, dude. Heavy, bro.
What's like the most overrated acting advice you've ever received that you're like, bah?
Damn.
Or
dude.
like cliche?
Wow. Wow, you put it hard for me, bro. The most overrated acting advice. I don't know if it's overrated. I think it's just like something you hear a lot, but it's kind of fluff. God, what could be? That's a good fucking question, man. Got me on my heels. No pun intended. Go watch that on Netflix. 2 seasons. Wow. Good question. Can we get back to that, dude?
Yeah, dude. Think about it.
Yeah, well, dude.
What's the most underrated?
Nah, listen. I got 10 commandments here for you that I do want to jump into because I think like as I go through them, I'll probably be able to kind of run into some of those like cliche ones that you hear. I think for me, it's listening, dude. Like if you're not listening, then you are playing with yourself, dude. You're a self-indulgent motherfucker. And you can be great at lying, dude, and like fucking making believe and, you know, faking some shit, but you're not listening to the other actor. You're just, again, playing with. Acting should be is exactly what we're doing. Like if we were doing a podcast right now and you're talking to me in a certain tone and I'm going, it's like, dude, you're not listening to this fucking guy and what he's telling you. And then let's say you say something serious and I'm mocking it. Like it's just it's not being connected with the other actor. And to me, that's where acting gets the most fun, is when you release control and you go, I'm gonna just listen and react to what is happening here, and ideally with the other actor, like take that shit off of you. Take the attention off of you and just be like looking at you, and then we're gonna go somewhere that we both didn't have planned. That's when acting is fucking. And again, that's why stage is good, because in camera, like on TV, I've had to learn this shit. Is like you kind of lose that a little bit because on close-ups, like the actor's sometimes not even there
Mm.
because I got to look at the side of that camera. And then sometimes it's the actor, sometimes it's like a PA on the set that's just reading his lines. And so there you are kind of working with yourself. I mean, there's no other way to do it. And you lose out on that thing that you get on stage.
That's so true. I've never thought of it like that, but now I understand why sometimes, and especially like TV, where you see a scene and you're like, it's like almost not overacted, but now I could see where it's like, all right, go.
For sure.
Instead of like the stage just live and you're going back and forth. It's like a collaboration where you got to set the shot in the TV show, you got to frame it, light, all right, ready, all right, do it again.
Yeah,
so you're just like,
there's some actors that like you'll see they're like incredible film actors, and then when you put them on stage, they're gonna hit all of the points. Like for instance, I saw Of Mice and Men on Broadway, and this actor who's a well-known film actor, at the end of Mice and Men, his character is supposed to shoot his like kind of his best friend. He's kind of like his little brother almost. He has mental problems, and he's gonna shoot him, like he's gonna put him out of his misery type of shit at the end. And so it's this very dramatic moment where he's about to kill essentially his best friend, and this actor had a tear that came down like this, like on the side that the fucking audience is on. It came down like this. I was all the way in the back, and it's like glistening this fucking guy's tear. And it was incredible, but I didn't give a fuck because the whole goddamn play, he was in his own world because he's used to having to act that way. So there was no real connection between him and the other actor. Whereas if that was established from the beginning, you're like, fuck, these people like I'm enjoying seeing them together. Now in that moment where his tear goes like this, my tear's also gonna go like that. But it didn't at all. I felt fucking cold. I was like, God. And that was a realization of like, oh shit, yeah, he's an incredible film actor. And on film, you would have cried because they're gonna cut it in a way where you're like, oh no, these two people give a fuck about each other. But on stage, you can't lie about that shit.
dude, and even in person, like how many times have you talked to someone where you can almost see on their face they're just waiting for you to finish?
Yeah.
So they could speak.
Yeah.
And it comes through. So I can imagine in acting when you know like you have to act, it's almost
Oh no, and you just hit the nail because bro, there's times where like you're acting with another actor, and because he's next to the camera, he's like this. Yeah. Uh-huh. And you're acting still, you're fucking trying to give it everything you got, you know what I mean? And you gotta laugh, he's just giving you that. He's like that, blah, blah, blah. You can't do that, man. You gotta be there for the other actor always.
I never thought of that. Like he's off camera.
He's
Like,
off
just
camera.
like-
You're seeing him. You're seeing him though. Because it's even better if he's so off camera that like I don't see him. I just hear his bullshit fucking the way he's reading his lines. But if I see his face and he's just like that, like waiting for you to finish so he can say that, God damn, dude. That's the part about film and TV I'm still like adjusting to because I don't like that at all. That takes away what I like about acting.
Right. And I guess that's why when like stage actors come into film, it's like they're almost people not, I wouldn't say like scared, but they're like, oh, this guy's coming from the stage because they think they don't have that training.
Yeah, yeah. And also sometimes it's the opposite, like thespian, right?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck this guy. But you know, like that's why I like working with an actor like Chris Bauer, because he's from the stage, and then when he comes to the set, he's still there. He's playing with it. You know what I mean? He's like, how are we gonna do it this time, right? And he's listening, and he's even if he's not on camera. So that's when it gets fun. Is like you get a stage actor who comes to the movies or TV and is playing in that same way.
So I guess the magic is like using that stage acting, but figuring out how to make it work in the TV movie business.
Yeah.
Where there's like people waiting on your takes, and there's other actors, and there's cameras and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's where the craze for method acting, aside from obviously Marlon Brando fucking being like the person that everyone wants to be, the actor. But like, I think that's kind of where it came from, because De Niro, Pacino, Dustin Hoffman, All of these guys were stage actors in New York first. So when they got to sets and there was like, cords everywhere and shit, that threw them off a little bit. So now let me fucking get focused and method, right? Let me be this character on set all the time so that I don't get thrown off by the shit like that. And I think that's where for me too, it becomes a useful tactic, because it's very easy to get distracted on set. Whether it's some fucking asshole talking to you, another actor, usually. Like, nobody else talks to you. It's actors, dude. Start talking. They want to chit-chat and shit like that. Crew is always cool as hell. It's usually another actor. And then phones. You're just like on your phone, and then your wife's texting you. No offense. Yeah. You're getting inundated by life. You're seeing social media. Now you're talking to some other guy about some social media shit. And it's just like, okay, all right, we're ready to go. And now you got to go, boom. And as a rookie, a novice in the TV and film stuff, like all of a sudden, I was just talking about, I don't know, some actor that died or like some other new social media. What's the new social media thing of the week? And then now I'm back, and and it's my close up. And I did the wide. We did the wide. But the wide, when they cut to the close, now I'm in the clouds somewhere. So even if I killed it on the wide, I'm not here for my close-up because I'm thinking about politics or whatever other bullshit you want to talk about in between, So it's figuring out those things, dude, that you only learn on set, And I'll try and tell people in the actors lab these things, but ultimately, until you're on set, you have no idea, like, what the game is like.
That's why now I remember hearing that when Christian Bale like blew up on that set, you're like, bro, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
But then you kind of hear the context and you think about like him and working that scene. You're like, damn, they messed up his scene.
They messed up his scene. They're in his island.
Yeah, they were in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about your 10 Commandments, bro. I know you've been waiting the whole podcast.
I have been waiting. Number 1. Master the text. All right. You read the script 100 times, hundreds of times, as many times as possible. And then you turn yourself over to an imaginary set of circumstances. So that's literally acting. You, Hector, are going to learn this piece of dialogue.
Yes, sir.
And then you're going to turn yourself into these imaginary set of circumstances. So you're getting home, or you're waiting right now to go into like a very important job interview, and you're in the waiting room, and these are the things that are here at the table for you to kind of like take your mind off of it. That's the imaginary set of circumstances, but it's you. That is it. Number 1.
Oh, okay.
That was number 1. Number 2, preparation equals freedom. So the idea here is like you prepare like you have no talent at all, right?
That's a good one.
And this is kind
like I
of
do
life
that
shit.
every day.
You
Before jujitsu. Here we go.
Yeah. Research, find the voice, walk, rhythm, secrets, wants, and history, then let it go. And then instinct replaces control. And I put here, it's fun. It's gotta be, dude. If this shit isn't fun, you're fucking doing wrong. The other thing there in the preparation is like similarities between you and the character, right? And then what's not, what maybe feels like it's far from you, but usually that's just like a hole in the way that you think about yourself, because all of us, no matter who we are capable of killing, murdering, loving, fucking, doing any of the cheating, lying, being truthful. All of us are capable of that shit. So if you start saying like, oh, I don't know what it, bullshit, dude. Under the right circumstances, you could be a murderer.
Chill.
That's number 2. Number 3, listen like your life depends on it. The foundation of acting is listening and responding truthfully. Because again, you can make up shit in your head and at your house in front of the mirror, which I don't recommend. And then when you get to set, they're talking to you in a different way, and now you look ridiculous answering the way you're answering. Be present, not performing. So don't show. Think and feel, especially in front of the camera. Think and feel, because thinking as if the camera was on you right now, you're thinking shit while I'm saying it. And it's almost more interesting than what I'm saying is how you're listening. So if you're a good fucking listener on camera and you know how to do that you just did, which was go, they would have cut to you right there. You would have stolen that little moment from me, right? Because I'm saying cool stuff, and I have shit lined up. But if you go, they do that. You know who's a beast at that is Mary McCormick, dude. Mary McCormick, if you see the way she acts, I used to always go, I would go see her and Bauer on set when I wasn't on set. Even on times where I wasn't called, and I would look at her, I would look at her listening more than anything, because she would do these things with her face that you'd be like, I don't know, that seems a little bit overacting. No, dude, they would cut to that every single fucking time.
Because it's real.
She's telling the story. Yeah, and she's telling the story. She's telling the audience how she feels based off of what this guy's saying. That's a masterclass, is watching her. Use your life. So everything you've lived is fuel. You borrow from memories, people, pain, and love, and you channel it through the author's words. That's pretty direct. Instinct over intellect. We're on number 6 already, so we're almost done. Don't plan emotion. Don't overthink. Best moments come from impulse, surprise, and surrender. Chris Bauer has a quote that he says, before a very intense emotional scene, he'll visualize himself holding on to a bunch of balloons, and each balloon represents a different version he thinks in his head, in his intellect, that the scene should go. I should cry here, or I should laugh at this moment. And right before the scene, he'll visualize himself letting those balloons go up into the sky, and then go into the scene with no fucking pre-planned thing. And that's a life thing too, dude.
That's a good one.
Visualize the way you think any moment should go. Oh, this should go this way, it should go that way.
Just let it go.
And now, boom, go into the meeting or whatever it is. Tension kills truth. Your job is to stay loose and stay out of your head. Let control go is a theme here. Character is you. That's number 8. Don't judge them. You're not pretending to be someone else. You're expressing yourself under different circumstances.
That makes sense.
It's a way to make this shit personal too to you, Number 9, be a pro. That's just fucking, listen, be on time. Yeah. Know your lines. Don't be an asshole. Bring ideas. So even though you're going to end up throwing those ideas away, bring them. Bring them. Stay off your phone. Work with gratitude. And then the last one is take risks. Don't be afraid to look like a fool. And that's
perfect.
The end. Now, yeah, don't be afraid to look like a fool. You have to.
Damn, dude. I think I'm ready to be an actor, dude.
I don't know, dude. Listen, the Actors Lab, MiamiActorsLab.com.
Keep plugging, dude. We're in it, dude. 2
separate packages. We got one that's for the stage, which to me is just the foundation of acting. It's not really for the stage. It's just learning how to act, and then applying all these different things that we're talking about here, about instinct and shit like that. And then there is the actor's room, which is more on camera intensive work. And that's going to be a little more heavily focused on booking roles, differences between auditioning, for an indie film and NCIS Hawaii, because there are differences there. So we'll cover all that in that one.
Dope. I think it's also especially after hearing your 10 commandments, which I think we should hang up in the studio for sure.
Got to.
It's even if you're not trying to be an actor, I feel like it would help whatever it is that you do, and especially that everyone's trying to create content or do podcasts or whatever, but even just you kind of, in a weird way, get to know yourself. It's like, I feel like everyone studying psychology and everyone studying acting could, like, especially that they go hand in hand, but I feel like it would make you a better person. Not that you're gonna go out and act like a good, or I don't know, maybe it would help.
Maybe, dude. Gary Shandling has a great quote that he used to say, like, him doing stand-up wasn't him like working through bits or trying to be funny or whatever. It was actually him asking himself, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And that is acting for me, is asking, who am I? Who am I?
Because you're putting yourself in these people's shoes, like you were saying, like experiencing their life, but through your lens in some way.
Yeah.
So, or yeah, your life through their lens. I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah. And you're listening.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're learning.
You could say something right now that in 10 performances later will affect me differently than it does right now. But because something happened to me between those 10 days, that now when you say that line again, it reminds me of my daughter, or reminds me of anything. My father just passed away. And now when you say that line, boom, a wave of emotion hits you. That can only happen in acting if you're truly listening and in the moment. Otherwise, you miss it. And that's life too. Is like, how many fucking pieces of advice have you received that you just weren't ready to hear them, you know?
Or and even having like empathy for someone. You're just like, like, because you're not really in it.
Yeah. Damn, dude. Yeah, dude. This was a deep.
Thespians, dude.
Thespian as fuck.
You got anything else you want to add or ask? Because, I mean, my mind's racing, dude. I could be a murderer.
We could be a murderer.
That's the title of the podcast for sure.
I'm really intrigued by the Actors Lab component, having nothing to do with acting whatsoever. But I'm really intrigued by the idea of getting your reps in, right? If you believe in craftsmanship, which I do, I believe in it in art. I believed in it when I was working in baseball. But there's got to be a place to be able to get your reps in that isn't the highest leverage situation. You said something not too long ago where it's like you haven't acted in 6 months and now you got to go give the performance of your life in front of a camera recorded by yourself. And so I see inherently the value of those reps in between those big moments, right? Yeah. I see it like a hitter, right? In baseball, like the cage sessions and the batting practice, that's like, in some ways it's a lot more valuable than the actual game reps because you're getting off your A swing, your B swing, you're preparing for different scenarios that could come up. And yes, you have one moment to get, to perform, but where do you get all those other reps? Where do you get the bad reps out of the way? Where do you get all sorts of things? So like that, to me, as soon as you started explaining what this was, I was like, oh, there's a value there. Even like, I didn't even think about it, to be honest, as like you as the teacher in the school. Like that, to me, it resonates with me that a lot of people would roll their eyes at somebody teaching them how to do this. They could teach them things that work for them, but everybody's so different from each other, and the roles they're gonna audition for are so different from each other that, like, I could see how that would be more of like a money grab kind of thing. Whereas I feel like what's happening here is community building through relatable transferring of experience. Yeah, and beyond just yourself. Like you are the initiator or the point guard, the pusher of the pace on this. But I'm sure the community that gets built around this is going to have something to contribute. So the collective contribution also becomes really interesting to me. And then this is where it's selfishly, but not selfishly. Like you start to build that community and create that collective. You don't know what comes out the other side of that. You don't know what comes out the other side of you getting together with talented people that a year down the road, you're not making something crazy because these people got together in this physical space. Right. Yeah. So it's really, that's the other thing that I take from what you were saying. This, there's something really powerful about being in the same space with people that when you lose that a little bit, when you do the self tapes and the post COVID stuff, but now like there's something that happens in the ether between people that, like, I think getting talented people together in the same room, that's the only way you could pull from that. It's the only way that some of the best ideas come together. And it's because I've seen it happen time and time again here, in this place. And so I'm really excited for you, man, and for anybody who's going to be attached to this in any way. Like, I'm not going to be an actor in it, but I want to sit in on all of this as much as I can.
Yeah.
So I'm hyped, man. I don't really have a question necessarily, although it sounds like you're making the thing you would want to attend yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And so what do you envision one of these practically looking like? Like, what do you envision a session looking like?
Yeah, I think it's funny you bring that up, and that's your segue into that question, because at the open lab that we had on Saturday, I realized as I was saying things, and we've talked about this before on a grander scale of like whenever somebody speaks something and then gets some form of response back, they double down on that, so that essentially leaders, any of these people that we see as like, oh, they're listening to the crowd if they're any good, right? And they're saying, oh, the crowd, they're moving. So as I'm talking that day, I'm realizing that the business side, right, is a huge part of it, and a huge and equally is checking in weekly about how the business is going, right? About the things that you're dealing with. So I almost see it as more of exactly what you said, less of a class, more of a, we're all doing this together. I'm going to lead the group, because there's got to be somebody leading the group and managing time and all, have all this shit in my head. I'm thinking about the 3-hour time. But essentially you're going to come, it's going to be almost like a gym, right? We thought, we played a little bit with the idea of calling it Actors Gym at one point, because it should feel that way. It should be a place where you can come, work on your shit, get your reps in, but then also check in with other people who are doing the same thing and figure out exactly what are the next steps that you need to do. Like, one of the things I would love to do with the 6 weeks that we're going to be working with these actors on is have them start somewhere. Like, oh, I need my headshot, I need my resume, I need my my reel, and I don't know where to start, because it feels like a mountain of things. But just every week, boom, we take one step closer to what's the first thing, what's the lowest hanging fruit that you need to tackle. Is it taking your headshots? Take your damn headshots. If you have, we'll figure out, what, the photographer, etc., but let's take your headshots. Then it's, my resume. Let's figure out the resume shit. Like, that's just sitting down and going like that and figuring it the fuck out, right? But it's a big deal when it's just in your head and kind of like this big fucking problem. So I think that's going to be a big part of it, is those weekly check-ins. And then it's just doing the work. Like, I'm going to have people like getting out of their comfort zone. Oh, you're used to doing that specific scene that way, do it differently. Because when you go on set, that's going to happen. You think, oh, they want me to be this drug dealer that's mean and like, and then they tell you, dude, no. Put all that shit away. Just speak to the other actor. And you're actually a good guy that just is in this position, blah, blah, blah. And now that judgment of that drug dealer or what you think they want that person to be is a different thing. So we're going to be doing a lot of that shit, more so than just be like, oh, no, that's not how you do it. This is how you do it. And da-da-da. No, just try differently. Try it a different way. Stretch that comfort zone. So those are some of I think the main points that for sure I'm going to zero in on.
Do you see space for the people also attached to the process that aren't the actual actors themselves? I know you and I have a lot of conversations about writing. There's like technical things that happen on the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an overlap here that's going to organically happen through that.
Yeah, I think eventually the writer's lab is going to become a thing where essentially we can start to kind of put writers that are writing new work together with these actors that are trying to do work, right? And maybe having an online database that these writers that are in the writer's lab can tap into that database on the internet, find the actors that match the roles that are in their scripts, and have those actors from the actors lab read their scripts and at the early stages. So you're going to be able to be in there with a writer who's actually making the work that you want to eventually be in on, you know, and you can get in on an early stage, which is always an upper hand before they do auditions or they do any of those things. And for the writer, I mean, you get to hear your work from actors that are doing it, not just in your head and your, you know, or another writer reading it. It's like you're gonna have actors reading these parts. So yeah, I think that's a whole other thing. And even on a grander scale, like I would love to see, okay, this can be a blueprint, but then how do we make this for painters? How do we make this for DJ artists? How do we make this for graphic designers? That's where we could get real interesting here within the next 6 months of having all of us do a version of this.
And
Right.
I think,
Go ahead.
My bad. But it goes back to your point of getting people in the space, because then maybe it's not maybe what comes from it isn't a movie or getting an audition, but you meet someone else that maybe had nothing to do with the writer's lab or actor's lab, and or somebody else was in the class that then sparks another idea. And like you said, like who knows what could come out of it when you get like all these different creatives in a room that have different minds and different expertise. I mean, it's dope.
Totally applicable model to other mediums, like
Right.
to other crafts as well. So I'm beyond excited that we're going down this path.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
same.
I think it's a good point to end it, bro. You got any more commandments or?
No, the creative lab. That should be the
That's
overarching.
we gotta leave that part out.
Sorry,
It's-
dude. We'll cut
That was
that.
too good.
Beep.
Maybe we should have named Casa Cultura that creative lab.
Well, it could be a section of, you know.
Damn. Now we gotta have a meeting about that. All right. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate you, boys. Peace.